Tonight on Spotlight, on the trail of Tony Quinn, visionary, guru, hypnotist.
The purpose of life is to experience life, not to sit on the sideline and think about it.
Life coach and saviour to some, cult leader to others. He raised a fortune from his believers, but we uncover claims that he has exercised a sinister influence over them. And most extraordinarily of all, the inside story of how two of his followers from Northern Ireland struck oil in Central America and founded a multi-million-dollar business.
I've got to tell you, it has been an amazing journey.
Only to fall out over Quinn's role in the firm.
It's been a long, hard, tough time, tougher than anybody could possibly imagine.
It began as a fairy tale with adventure, exotic locations and outrageous fortune. So how did the dream go wrong? Questions surround what Tony Quinn and his supporters have done with a fortune in oil money. Something we put to him when Spotlight tracked him down overseas. Dr. Quinn, are you going to pay back INE the money, the millions that the shareholders say you owe them? I'm watching a promotional film for a highly controversial self-improvement therapy called Educo.
My turnover of my business shot through the roof. It was incredible. It went from 8 grand a week turnover to 80 grand a week, effortlessly.
It goes beyond belief. It's just a state of being. It's a new way and a new dimension of living.
It promises to change your life.
I can't believe I went through an operation without anesthetic.
It is now possible for the first time ever to take control of aging and indeed health at the cellular level.
You're in a position to literally produce what I call designer lives.
Educo, the educational system of the future, today.
It is the brainchild of Dr. Tony Quinn, Irish yoga teacher turned business guru. His courses cost anything up to $100,000 a time. I wanted to investigate claims that he exercises a strange influence over his believers. And in particular, the story of a feud between two of his former followers, two women from Northern Ireland. Susan Morris, a renowned geologist from Belfast, and her former business partner, Fermanagh woman Sheila McCaffrey. Both had started as fans of Tony Quinn's teachings.
When I'm working with people, what I try and do is take out everything that's possible and put it in front of them, and they choose how far they want to go.
As I would discover, the women disagree on him, and they can't stand each other.
How many times did you say it? It is lies. You are discounting everybody.
An annual meeting in Dublin of International Natural Energy. On the right, Susan Morris, company chairman. On the left, Sheila McCaffrey, her former chief executive. The meeting descended into chaos, and no actual business seemed to be getting done. Shareholders seem in one way mystified, but there are plenty of angry shareholders in there too, as you can hear now with the shouts in the background. At stake was the very future of the company, but for many, what was most striking was the animosity between Morris and McCaffrey. Shareholders were taken aback.
Well, it was quite an extraordinary day. I've never seen anything like it. It was really a clash of the titans. Two female directors absolutely fighting the piece out. The whole floor erupted. More people were standing than sitting. They were shouting. Complete disorder. It was called to order a few times. There were 7 American lawyers there. They couldn't control the situation at all.
Were you shocked to see the goings-on?
Yes. I expect adults to behave with a little bit more decorum than that. It was a disgrace.
Susan Morris's leadership had been attacked, but it was her relationship to Educo and Tony Quinn that was under examination. Exactly what position did he have in the company's balance of power? After the meeting imploded, shareholders seem to have made up their own minds.
Tony Quinn has complete control over her. He's the puppet master, she's the puppet. You know, God help her, he has complete control of that lady.
Just as serious, Susan Morris had been accused of spending major amounts of company money on herself. I put that to her as she was leaving with the wife and late business partner.
Some shareholders believe that you're using the company as your personal bank.
Absolutely not, Brian. That is total lies.
And many shareholders say you're still under the influence of Tony Quinn.
That is
true?
absolutely ridiculous.
Susan would later file a complaint with police about disruption at the meeting. As she left, she may well have reflected on how she and Sheila had become such enemies after years of friendship. The two women had met on the lawn of the White House over a decade ago at an event promoting trade in Northern Ireland. Both were young entrepreneurs. Susan was already a world-renowned geologist.
So prospects are improving, Susan Morris.
Yes, they are. With this particular type of geophysical technique we're using, we're able to get an idea of the structures or the hills underneath the ground.
Sheila, here in her native Fermanagh, was a businesswoman on the up.
We have about roughly half of it dedicated to office accommodation for computer workers.
But it was their later devotion to Educo and Quinn that would lead them to their greatest success. Belize, Central America. For 50 years, petroleum giants had tried and failed to find oil here. But Susan Morris and Sheila McCaffrey's company struck oil first time.
It was an average day in Belize, scorching hot, 40 degrees. We were, everybody was anxious. It was a, make or break day as far as we were concerned. People assembled on the site just at dawn, just coming up to 5:30 in the morning. The sun rose over Spanish Lookout. Did I think the world would be a different place by the time the sun went down? I hoped it would. I dreamed it would.
This is the moment their lives changed.
It was a momentous day for everybody involved. I never seen so many grown men cry in my life.
Susan and Sheila's company had struck black gold, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of oil. The Belize oil strike had its origins in the Educo seminars. Both women had taken part in them and had been taught dreams can become reality. It was Sheila who introduced Susan to the life-changing course, a concept that Susan continues to champion to this day.
That seminar allowed me to join the dots, and it was like a major eureka moment when I realized that this life that courses through all of us, that is our very being, is quite a separate part than the group of thoughts, of mindsets that we believe are ourselves.
Educo promised a very different approach to business, life, and the power of the mind. Susan even promoted it on her website. Educo makes many claims about its benefits.
Many psychologists maintain we are only using a small percentage of our minds. Various estimates have been offered from as high as 10% to as low as 5%.
But the science behind it is questioned.
I would be very sceptical of that there. I mean, in fact, I would go so far as to, to contend that and say that it's nonsense in many ways. I mean, when they say about using more of your mind, they say that we only use 10% of our mind, which is incorrect. And that is something that has been a myth in psychology for a number of years.
Dr. John Butler is an expert in hypnotherapy and a long-time critic of Educo and its emphasis on money.
Educo is a mind development system that promotes the idea that by studying the course and information they have, you will improve the quality of your life. It has a very strong emphasis on material success, but it also applies to what they call gaining more life, being more in touch with life. So it has a kind of quasi-spiritual aspects to it.
So it sounds quite positive. It sounds like a life-changing force.
That's the claim. Yeah, that's what people are promised.
Whatever the real benefits of Educo, there's no doubt that Susan and Sheila were grateful to Quinn as the inspiration behind their success. They gave him a vast shareholding in the company. He would soon get a seat on the board too. Quinn would benefit hugely from the company, certainly more than many of the original investors. County Down. The oil venture had been funded partly by other followers of Quinn's teachings. One of them, a retired nurse living in Donaghadee.
I needed to break out of the rut that I was in, and it seemed to me to be a door that was opening that was perhaps worth pursuing.
Margaret Coutts's husband had died, and she felt she needed to rebuild her life. So she signed up for the Educo course. Margaret hoped it would improve her life dramatically.
It was, I felt, going to help me. It wasn't very long after I'd lost my husband, and I was fighting to find a way that I could live without him.
Margaret had paid for a 2-week Educo seminar. Held in Las Vegas, it cost around £12,000.
I had never done any travelling, and I thought, well, this is an opportunity to go somewhere that I won't probably go again. Staying at Caesar's Palace, and it was the two things.
And what were you actually paying for apart from the accommodation and the flights? What were you getting for your money?
I find that very difficult to answer, because the more I think about it, the less I got for it.
Margaret had been encouraged to fund the oil exploration dream, like other Educo followers. Rafe McCutcheon from County Down was an avid Educo follower, encouraged by what he believed to be its positive, go-getting message.
In common with a lot of the people who've been on the course, I'd been through hard times. I'd lost my marriage, lost my home, and the only way was up.
He happily put money into this scheme to hunt for oil. But when I first met him, he said he'd never seen a profit or full audited accounts. Shareholders like Rafe complained they were kept in the dark. They started asking awkward questions.
We didn't exist. Some of us formed a shareholders action group because we were so concerned that we couldn't get any information from the company, that we weren't getting AGMs, we weren't getting any information at all, weren't getting accounts, and we were being completely disregarded. We were the ones who actually put the money in.
Quinn's role in the company had grown. He even wrote directly to shareholders to celebrate their success. Not all of them were jubilant. What did you think when you heard that Tony Quinn had been given a substantial amount of shares in the company?
Where did the shares come from? Who gave them to him? Who paid for them? And why should he be given shares? Why didn't he? The man with the amount of money that he has, why didn't he buy them? Why didn't he get involved when the thing was getting off the ground? He waited until it was a functioning company and producing oil. He didn't want to have anything to do with it prior to that. A lot of questions.
George Hamilton is a former Educo follower. In 1 year, he'd spent an incredible €70,000 on Quinn's seminars. He also invested thousands in the oil company, but when I met him, he hadn't seen a cent. According to George, Quinn spoke at a rare meeting of INE's shareholders in 2007.
He said that he was advising the board, and he said that the advice he had given them was that they were giving out too much information, and he would be advising them to give out very little information.
Quinn was now a fellow director, but Sheila McCaffrey was becoming sidelined. A new chief executive was appointed, replacing her. She would later be removed from the company altogether. INE, under Susan Morris's chairmanship, would later say that Sheila did not have the required expertise. The company had outgrown her.
The company didn't outgrow me. The company went from being an exploration company and it suddenly found oil. It's easy for people to look back now and make assumptions about what happened during the period of time. I was there. I actually do know what happened. And this freeze out of me that happened was purposely orchestrated, designed and executed perfectly.
We asked Tony Quinn if he was responsible for sidelining Sheila. He denies this. Other shareholders were growing restless, like Paul Kelly from County Down. The scheme was bringing in big bucks. It was such a success, even non-Educo followers had come on board what was now Belize's biggest export company, an oil firm worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, the shareholders were starting to have a voice, and people wanted to know what was happening to the company which they had invested in. Basically, there weren't proper accounts, there wasn't transparency. People didn't know where the money had gone, if the company had made any money or lost money or made money. It's just a normal thing companies should do, file accounts and produce books, basically, which seemed to be impossible.
Shareholders were in open revolt. Sheila McCaffrey had not only been moved aside. Acting on information supplied by the company, police in Belize issued a warrant for her arrest. Company property had allegedly been stolen. Sheila was dismissed. Susan brought in new blood. Her cousin joined the board.
Hi, my name is Josh Stewart and I'm originally from Belfast, Northern Ireland. When Susan asked me was I truly fulfilled, I could feel it inside me. I knew I wasn't. So I jumped at the chance and attended the 2-week Educo seminar in the Bahamas. To say that the Educo seminar was transforming would be an understatement.
Josh Stewart's devotion to Educo made him an ideal candidate to team up with his cousin Susan on the board of INE. It seemed Educo and INE's leadership were almost becoming one, united under Tony Quinn's guidance. A new rule had been introduced. Any further investors would have to attend Tony Quinn's Educo courses. This commercial law expert who examined the issue for us questions that rule.
This was very odd, particularly because the training courses don't seem to serve any purpose so far as the business is concerned. To that end, there would be a question whether there would be a conflict of interest there. When a shareholder promotes the company for the gain of his own personal pursuits or another company that he has an interest in, that is a serious conflict of interest.
The company say this was just a short-term measure for 4 months to protect INE. But another new allegation now surfaced. Some INE shareholders we spoke to claimed they were being spied upon, and that came to light last year.
After the last AGM, we had a meeting that's the shareholders who feel that things aren't right, and at that meeting there was a person in the lobby videoing us coming out of the lift.
We actually followed one of the agents ourselves after a meeting in Dundalk, and we identified him as a private agent.
INE strongly deny they were ever involved in any spying. A number of years had passed since INE hit oil. But people like Riff had yet to see a payout. This was becoming a critical issue. He needed funds fast. His home was now on the line. Others were anxious too.
You're generally unhappy though with the way it's been run?
I think there needs to be a big window opened on what has been going on. I think the answer to that is no, I'm not happy.
INE claims that it was merely a small number of dissident investors who were upset with the company. In a court case in the British Virgin Islands, Sheila tried to get the company to buy her out or be wound up. she didn't succeed. INE claimed that she was motivated by a desire to destabilise it on behalf of a rival firm. But the judge had some serious things to say about INE. He found that Quinn should never have been made a director of the company under its own rules, and criticised the way he and Susan Morris had been running INE. The judge also painted a picture that appeared to reflect what small shareholders had been saying. I'd been tipped off that Dr. Quinn was out of the country, giving an expensive Mindmaster seminar in the sun. I tracked him down to Tenerife. What he and Susan had been up to while at the helm of INE was now beginning to emerge, thanks to the court action. Tony Quinn and Susan Morris had told investors that they couldn't pay a dividend because their banks wouldn't let them. But the judge had found there was no evidence of this. Now, if shareholders wanted any money, they had to apply to their own company for a loan. The judge described this as a bizarre arrangement, designed to punish shareholders of whom Morris and Quinn disapproved. Quinn, though, was able to tap into the scheme to the tune of $1.6 million. INE maintains it had paid out millions to investors, but while loans had been issued, the judge in July said no dividends had been paid. There were further revelations. Quinn's time on the board was certainly eventful. Almost $2 million had been spent on security and what was described as counter-surveillance. Morris and Quinn claimed their lives were under threat. What the judge called a private army had been assembled for Quinn, all with company money. For at least one courtroom observer, what was apparent was Tony Quinn's hold over Susan, a hold she continues to deny.
My impression from talking to Susan Morris and from attending the trial would be that she is very much under the influence of Tony Quinn. She greatly admires Tony Quinn, she defers to him, and she deferred to him in the running of the business. Giving her evidence during the trial, she was quite emotional at various occasions, including at times when relating how Tony Quinn and herself were threatened, or as she said, they came under death threats and other types of threats, and felt the need to spend money on large sums of money on surveillance and close protection security.
Do you feel as if you might have been under surveillance?
I know I have been under surveillance.
How does that make you feel?
You have to make very substantial changes every day in what you're doing, and it affects your children, it affects everything about your life and who you talk to, and the fact that it changes everything. It changes everything about your life, and it's the most deepest forms of infringement of your personal security and personal things that you do every day. Everything's compromised.
Susan Morris denies she ever hired security experts to harass and intimidate shareholders or her former friend. The court case would suggest that Sheila's departure may well have been inevitable, just business. Her treatment, however, was anything but, according to the judge.
We can carefully analyse what has happened back since 2009. If people want to freeze you out, they will stop at nothing doing it. And it's been a long, hard, tough time, tougher than anybody could possibly imagine. And
the judge said there had been a deliberate policy to make Sheila McCaffrey's life as difficult as possible. Susan and her cousin Josh Stewart had also wrongly spent $200,000 of company money attending Quinn's Educo courses.
This company is, in one sense, off the rails, because the board for 5 years leading up to the trial of this case was running this company outside of the rule book. They were running it as they wished. The rights of a large majority of the shareholders have been entirely ignored. So from my view, from reading the judgment, the judge was very critical of the way in which this company was run. I would perceive this as an indictment on the way in which these people have run this company.
Quinn's allocation of nearly $16 million in shares is now in question. In all, millions of dollars of INE money has found its way to Quinn via a loan, Educo seminars and the shares. But he should never have been on the board, so I wanted to know if he intended to pay that money back. Time to talk to Tony.
It's the first time that Educo has come to Tenerife, and this luxury hotel is the location Tony Quinn has chosen to introduce new members to the Educo way of life.
Both Tony Quinn and Susan Morris had declined our requests that they be interviewed for this programme.
Dr. Quinn, Brian Hollywood from BBC Spotlight. Are you going to pay back the INE shareholders the money they say you owe them? Dr. Quinn, are you going to pay back INE the money, the millions that the shareholders say you owe them? Dr. Quinn, have you any comment about the money that the INE shareholders say you owe them?
You've got to stay.
Following his removal from the INE board, his role and shareholding in the company remain unclear. After I tried to put questions to him, Dr. Quinn later contacted us, saying he had had nothing to do with Sheila's departure, actually abstaining from the vote to cast her out of INE. He also denies hypnotising anyone. Susan Morris denies using company money wrongly, but still advocates the Educo courses for staff members. And what of Dr. Quinn's vast shareholding in the company? This is the letter apparently granting Quinn his shares. A judge found it was a forgery, backdated to legitimise the transfer. Sheila denies she was party to this and says she had not signed the letter. But INE now claims that this undated photo is proof she lied to the court. It also says the photo is backed up by accounts from eyewitnesses to the event. Sheila denies any wrongdoing. A week before my encounter in Tenerife, just before the investors' annual general meeting, INE had finally made a multi-million-dollar payout of dividends. But the last-minute payout had done little to quell anger among some shareholders. They were still demanding wholesale reform of INE. Many seemed willing to back Sheila McCaffrey, who has yet to receive her dividend.
I'm happy today. I haven't been happy up until today. Hopefully today is the day when things start to change.
Sheila has been reinstated as a director, and she needs to be given backing from the company.
Susan Morris contests all of Sheila McCaffrey's allegations and has stated that every aspect of the company's operation is totally transparent. While the two women have thanked Tony Quinn for the success of their oil prospecting, he also lies at the heart of their dark feud.
So I just wanted to add this clip in because it's a random clip and I'm a random ass person, and I didn't want to put it or release it by itself because she doesn't deserve the attention. So I just added it into this particular video because I'm pretty sure most of you guys may think that this video is boring. So I didn't. I thought it was very interesting, but I thought I would add a little Louisiana hot sauce in it. Okay, and this is what this is. So you know, I'm not really going after anyone anymore. I'm not doing that, but if you come for me, I'm going to respond in very petty, childish ways. I just am. Especially if I never ever come for you. Especially if you come for me, it's just going to be very petty, and I'm not going to play fair. Okay, right.
What does my title say? What does my title say, y'all? I didn't even make a title for this damn live. That's what happens when your nosy ass sliding through the damn window. Sliding in through the window and shit. even know she was in there until you said something. Right. Oh, it's over with already. It was 10 minutes ago, Toxic. Sasha. What is your name again, Toxic? Hold on, let me look, love. Neek. It says Zaddy Neek. But you corrected me. So what is your name, baby? Right. I bet it up there. Ash just put the eyes in the group chat. Right. Oh, because I was supposed to be. She thought I was reading them documents today. The 3 documents. That's what it is, Ray. The 3 documents. They want to know what them documents say. They just being nosy. Yep. Go figure it out your damn self. Hey, everybody. People in the window, because I see is building up. Motherfuckers in the window. Hey, comment girl. Can y'all motherfuckers clean my window while y'all sitting in the window? Right.
So she went from falling through the window to sitting in the window. That's what you're doing,
girl. Clean my windows while you sitting up in there, motherfucker.
You fell through the window just to go sit in the window, girl. Just come back. Just come back, girl.
At this point, just come back, apologize, and call it a day. Say, you know what? I was wrong for stealing your content. If I wouldn't have stole your content, you wouldn't have acted an ass and chewed me up. And also, you know what? I'm not here to drag black women. I'm here to support them just like you are. You know, well, if they wrong, they wrong. I get that part. Like, if somebody's wrong, they wrong. You know, like, they are correcting things, but she don't believe in self-correction. So whatever.
But this is what she should say. I'm sorry for stealing your content and continuing to steal your content and then play victim and gaslight you on the situation and apologize all at the same time. That's basically what she do, because her videos are trash and garbage unless she's stealing content. You ain't got shit to steal over here. You haven't posted in a whole week. And the content you did post was shitty-ass content. And then the last video she posted was content that you talked about. Nobody was worried about that other tribe. Nobody. Nobody didn't even care to even find out who they were. Hell, they probably didn't even know they existed until you said something.
Girl, and they still don't care. Because I done reported on them over and over and over again. Girl, they don't give a damn. They just worried about Alicia, your raggedy ass. What's up, young noble?
Oh no, they reported on
okay, baby.
Light Body.
I know, but I'm saying they really don't care. It's not like where they do it every day like they do on Carbonation.
Yeah, that's because they don't really know no good tea on Light Body or who Light Body is. There's no real tea on them.
Oh, I know, so shit.
Oh, so you got some real tea? You just ain't ready to spill it yet.
Nope, I ain't guilty yet. You know, somebody knows their chief. And, yeah. Yep.
You know what I think you should start doing, too? I think you should start going live from YouTube. So that way your content could be on YouTube, and then you could just replay it back on your own live. And then
can't go live on YouTube yet. I don't have enough subscribers.
Oh, yeah, because you do have to have.
Hey, Kitty, but if y'all all go subscribe, we got to start pushing the YouTube channel. Everybody go subscribe to Miss Cherry's YouTube channel. What is it called?
Miss Cherry Bomb, her name.
Yep, but it's spelled M-I-S-S space, P-H-E-R-Y space B-O-M. Okay. Yes. Everybody subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need 1,000 subscribers so we can get this thing popping. I already got 400 and some people on one video. So if all them people subscribe, we will be damn near there. Because I got some shit on there. I'm gonna post some more shit. I got some shit, y'all.
Cause see, now that way, if your content is reposted, YouTube definitely gonna take that shit down for real, for real.
Absolutely. Yeah, but
so that's why I think that you should pre-record it and go live on YouTube, and then just use your big old channel to replay your content and to,
do my door deals.
Yeah, do your door deals on it.
Hey, Miss Mocha. So look, this is what I think. So I had a meeting with the people who have been given the content lately, and I told them to starve all of the bloggers, big old hosts, and everybody. Starve them for content. If you don't give them shit, they won't have shit to report on. And exactly what I said is exactly what's been going on. I did that before I got sick. Y'all can thank me for that. And won't nobody be...
Yeah, because all they keep talking about is the same old shit now. So
and won't nobody get no interviews. You can thank Miss Cherry for that too. I canceled that shit too. Won't nobody get a motherfucking ass interview. Yeah.
And they shouldn't, because it ain't like they really care. They just want something to gossip about and tear people down and ridicule about. Like, and they do it with everybody. When Velvet left Carbonation, they did it with her.
Right.
They do it with all of them. They say they want them to leave, but they leave and they tear them down. Make that shit make sense to me.
Right. And now they start lying and making shit up.
Could you do me a favor? You really mean that. Like, you're... Like I said, I'm a nice person and shit. I'll give the shit on my back.
Is somebody watching somebody else's live?
I don't know. Rihanna, is that you? Rihanna.
Huh?
You watching somebody else's live?
No, that was my TV.
Oh. It was loud as hell, girl.
It was. I was like, who live that is?
That's my phone is parking at. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I'm sorry.
It's all right, baby.
Yeah, you're good. Stop, JoJo.
Let's get on up in here since we live. We might as well. Hey, OG. We might as well go ahead and stay live, y'all. Shit, fuck it.
Yeah, get your hours in. Knock that shit out.
Run me up, y'all. Run me up. I need some bean beans. Yep. I'm asking for bean beans. Okay, I don't know how to work this over here. Hold on.
I like seeing you on the single live. You should do this more often.
I used to do single lives all the time. This is where I started off on single lives, cooking and shit.
But you come on during the daytime like this, you got to come with something, because this is where the money people be at on the daytime.
Girl, I used to make money sitting up there just talking to people during this. I used to hit 5 stars to a box. Easy.
Really?
Okay. Talking shit, cooking, doing the kids' hair, running around the damn house. Yes, girl. Yes.
See, that's what the mommies on here like too, and they're definitely throwing you. I remember I used to watch this lady who used to come on and used to cook breakfast for her kids. She used to be a dark-skinned, heavy-set lady. She don't come on no more. She had a son and a daughter. Her son was big. That little boy know he could eat.
Oh wow. Hey, Goo or Go. I'm sorry. What's good, everybody?
And you would see her cooking breakfast and lunch and dinner and everything, and that's all she would do.
Yeah, we getting ready to get up and clean up this room in a minute, y'all. My room is a hot-ass mess, and y'all sure can fool me while I clean it. And we can play some music and talk. But yeah, we're going to get the papers, and we're going to read them papers.
Oh, did your contact say they'll be able to get a hold of them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
After her meeting.
Because they not talking about those papers because they don't have access to those papers.
Uh-huh. I know.
I wouldn't even show them when I get them. Because all they're going to do is steal your shit and not give you credit.
Yeah, they can't steal it if we, what do you call it? If I block it out, like block it. Block it out. I can read it on my be able to read it on that end.
Yeah, they don't like giving nobody credit for nothing, but they want to steal folks' content.
Yep. Ash said she was going to try to come on after her meeting.
Okay, okay. Hey, Ms. Gomez.
The fact that they started talking about
Hold on,
me
y'all.
is
I'll be
hilarious.
right back. Give me 1 minute.
Because I don't know what she's talking about, stealing her content. Dude, you have no content.
You do?
I don't know what she's talking about, but it's hilarious. It's funny. So, and I don't care about no goddamn papers. I don't know what paper she's talking about. I can give zero fucks.
Who am I, girl?
Huh?
Herb. I said I see she's still with us. I was saying, how you doing, my girl?
And
so what's up,
I
y'all?
talked about Mashawn a year or so ago.
Let's talk about.
Girl, shut up.
Hey, Darrendy. So the papers. So it's
The papers. The papers.
I know what I already know what they are.
Who cares?
What they are for each
charge,
each thing that he has to plea on. They're just the documents, Raymond documents.
Yeah, but I want to see what they're offering him, because on those arraignment documents it should say how many years he should be looking at for each count.
Well, it's 25 years. I know definitely it's 25. He's looking at 25 years. That I know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, he may be looking at that, but we don't know what they're offering him. We need to see those papers.
Let me ask, because from my understanding, they didn't give him no plea deal. So let me go.
Oh, they didn't offer him none?
No, girl. What? Let me go ask.
They must have a sealed case. I mean, that case was sealed and delivered to them. They didn't offer him nothing.
Let me go ask to make sure, because I get shit mixed up. Hey, Soul Taker. But from my understanding, they didn't offer him no plea.
If they didn't offer him no deal, that means that they finna nail the casket shut on that ass.
Oh, they got overwhelming evidence.
Oh, yeah, they got overwhelming evidence. They definitely wasn't about to offer him no plea deal. That wasn't the
Right.
Bro.
Who's in here right now?
Just fucking.
I remember what you told me. You ain't got to tell it. You ain't got to tell it.
She's a mole on my page. I know she on my page.
No, there's some other stuff that I ain't even mentioned.
Weird
that you just you told me to shut up. I know.
Yeah, don't do it.
I'm killing my content.
Well, from my understanding,
don't nobody want to interview Carbonation?
Take place. All I'm saying is some things are getting ready to take place.
My temper too bad to talk to them.
I know, but I'll tell you in the Discord. I'm not going to tell you here.
Okay.
Yeah. These people are obsessed with Carbonation. I'm not
thank you for the hearts, babies.
Dude. I don't
Between
care.
now and September, there are some major things that are going to... There's going to be some major key players that are going to be involved in the whole intricate intricacy of the whole situation.
Okay.
So basically what Miss Cherry is saying, between now and September, some major bombs are about to drop that's going to shock everybody.
The bombs are coming. Attach the cherry to it, baby, because I told you first.
This is not.
Bombs are coming.
Oh,
Go to the website.
It's gonna be an explosion.
It
definitely is, because you guys think
about.
that people. Do you guys think that people would just go sit on their asses and just take this?
No.
Oh, no.
What?
No. He made some people really, really mad.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Someone mute him.
Huh?
What?
I'm not saying they're getting rowdy now, but if they get rowdy in the comments, you want them to someone mute them.
We just muting. We're not kicking nobody. We keep Miss Cherry's numbers as high as we can.
Okay. I was just making sure I knew what to do.
Just mute if it's something serious. You know, I can ignore a lot of shit, so it don't bother me. This is Big O.
Ooh, those a lot of views. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's all the way up to 284.
But I'm going to tell you
Oh my
something.
God. So
This
many
case
people in here.
is getting ready to be hot like motherfucking fire. Yeah, people gonna come out the woodwork who you didn't even think was gonna come out the woodwork.
Out of the 278, 200 of them are bots.
You got some songbirds in the mix. And if you notice, if y'all look at people's pattern of behaviors when they're online doing their live, you'll see that they're nervous. The more that we get closer to this, the more nervous people are getting, and it shows online. People don't have to say anything. You gotta know how to read body language.
Oh my God,
People do
bro.
certain things when they get nervous.
Oh my God, this is one really strange
They are definitely nervous
woman.
because they're like, damn, I gotta face it over again. I gotta talk about this shit all over again.
But I'm so glad that I'm
You know what I
bringing
mean?
so much
That's hard
space
for
in her
people to
head. Thank you, Cherry.
I just feel like they want to
Your
move on with their
indirect
life. They don't
hate
want to keep going
for
over
me
this
is
over and over and
really
over again.
helping me.
But you
So
have
thank
to.
you.
I wonder
Your
I wonder
indirect
why the
hate for
courts
me is
haven't
helping me.
made a decision.
Oh my God. Who is
in
this
that
bitch
in that
she talking
attorney's
about? Yeah, come find out.
plea that he filed to withdraw
Come
his
find out.
motion that he filed to withdraw his as his attorney. By now, the judge would have ordered something or allowed something if they was going to let
Okay,
him off.
I'm done.
Right,
You're
right.
boring.
Other beliefs in here in Denver actually, and we tried for a number of years, but no luck. We couldn't get anyone to believe us, and we went 12 years ago. We went to a key educational seminar on understanding the power of our mind. Now, I'm a scientist in the geology area, so I wanted to find the best work, the best case histories, someone who really not just explained it academically, but practically. A bit like what Lisa said to you, get out on Monday morning and make sure we're doing it. It's got to be practical, okay? So anyway, we went along to Educo, the seminar, which means it's from the Latin word to draw out from within, to draw our best out from within. And what I'd like to propose is a scholarship for everybody in this room, helpers and students, because those who are helping are participating too. A scholarship to go to this Educo seminar. It's a 2-week seminar. We'll work out the timing, because I actually know that I'm now on this planet to pass on the tools of what I have utilized to make a difference in Belize. I think basically we've covered it. It was really, if you want to know how I have done this, put all these tools together, you really want to know, then come up, write the essay, give me the feedback, give Lisa and I the feedback, and let's see what that feedback is, and let's start the ball rolling with action. And I will commit to you today to give the winner a scholarship and allow that to roll on. And Lisa and I and the other leaders will plan on how to make that a huge ball that rolls around the world. Okay, guys? Okay. Okay. Yes. I'd say going to that seminar, the Educo seminar, I didn't really know what mindsets meant. Being from Ireland, we weren't involved in that word even. And so the picture was painted for me. It's a bit like an onion. If you cut an onion in half, and the wee middle bit is our spirit, and then you've got all these layers. And I realized that everybody has different types of layers. But that's where the big dream comes, and that onion just blasts apart. That's why the word diversification, and that's why all of the company, all 200 people in Belize Natural Energy go on the seminar, so that they too will understand exactly what we're saying and live and be creative. So for instance, our CEO has gone, and he's of course a great leader, he's like a Mayan chief, but our head of the cleaning crew just went. Let me just give you an example. She came back and she saw the people coming into B&E, Belize Natural Energy, drinking Coca-Cola. Not maybe very strange. She would go outside and see oranges on the trees. She said, what's wrong with this? She squeezed all the oranges. She brought in fresh orange juice. And that's why we're being asked to go and teach all over the place, teach this new business model. And by the way, I'm awfully glad you asked me this question, because it is such an innovative model. It was then replicated up here in Denver in Centennial. And all of you who want to come out on a field trip to XJet, it's a private jet company at Centennial, and they're based on the same business model.
Well, the book is based on the oil discovery in Belize and the company B&E, Belize Natural Energy, which was founded by Mike, the real life Mike Usher and Susan Morris, who also pops up in the book. What's unique about this particular oil discovery was how it happened. You see, the people who were involved, they found the oil by using the power of their minds. Mike, Susan, the investors, they'd all been educated by Dr. Tony Quinn, who taught them how to draw out that power, the higher power. And it was because of his educational model Educo that they were able to come together, join with that power, then as one mind they could achieve the outcome, which was to discover the oil, empower the people and make a real difference in the country. Well, the children are the future, and I believe that they should know from a very young age, or even better from the very beginning, that they have this life force power within them, this higher power. Because we, humanity, up until now, well, we've been looking outside ourselves for everything, for the answers, for world change, when all along there was, there is, and there always will be this higher power inside of us. And it's the only thing that can make any real change, if we let it. Yeah, we should go and spread the good news. And the good news is that the higher power does truly exist within us. Because if you look at this oil discovery and the very fact that Belize Natural Energy exists, well, it's proof, isn't it? That was such a small group of people who made such a difference in one country by coming from their power. Imagine 2 billion people living from their higher power. Like, that is good news.